The air in your room has just become dense with a frequency that your physical senses weren't built to handle. You feel a humming in your skin, a static charge that refuses to let your mind settle into its usual numbness. The Federation of Light confirms that the structures of separation are losing their structural coherence right now. This is not a future prophecy you are waiting for. It is a physiological overhaul moving through your nerves. Many souls are waiting for a savior to descend from the clouds, but the ignition is happening in your marrow. You stand in a multi-dimensional corridor where every single breath is an irrevocable declaration of your trajectory. The Schumann resonance is not just a graph on a screen, it is the earth raising her voice to match your soul. You are becoming a radiant node of cosmic data, translating light into lived experience with every difficult choice. Every step you take imprints a new geometry upon this plane, offering a map for those ready to wake. Manifestation is evolving from a distant dream into a triad of clear intention, heart magnetism, and direct action. Petitions to a remote power are ceasing as you enter a collegial dialogue with your own eternal oversoul. Observe how the latency between your thought and the resulting form is shortening with absolute certainty. Simultaneously, a cohort remains captivated by the architecture of survival, filtered through lenses of lack and suspicion. These restrictive realities feel tight and looping, where every worry births evidence to justify its persistent existence. Know that these souls are not forsaken, but journeying through dense learning halls where unintegrated fears still echo. You act as a stable point of neutrality, demonstrating through your radiance that another vibrational choice is available. Mass consciousness functions as a holographic feedback chamber where collective fears project outward to sculpt unrest. The storms in your news feeds are externalized replicas of the unseen turmoil within the human heart. When enough hearts misidentify with fear, the hologram densifies until the resulting discomfort triggers a necessary inquiry. Eventually, the pressure of miscreation cracks its own casing, releasing a surge of revelation that changes everything. You witness such cracking now through economic, environmental, and social ruptures through which higher clarity is seeping. Hold compassion for those ensnared in the maze, remembering that the Creator never withdraws love from the human perspective. My dear ambassadors of awakening, recognize that this present moment is a cosmic juncture unparalleled in your current lifetime. Gone are the days when one could drift in half-chosen neutrality, waiting for outer events to guarantee passage. No emissary in luminous robes will collect you, and no solar eruption will transport an unconscious mind into paradise. The inner ignition many name the solar flash is actually a crescendo of frequencies designed to amplify your internal state. Imagine a chamber of pure crystalline fire surrounding Earth, where every unclaimed dream and dormant code is illuminated. Nothing can remain hidden in such radiance, as your field begins to glow with either surrender or shadowed resistance. The vibration you stabilize determines your orbit through this chamber, where density feels like heat and courage becomes luminosity. To become combustible with light is to trust the architecture of your soul more than ancestral echoes of survival. Affirm again and again that life in its essence is conspiring for your liberation at the axis of your heart. This divergence is not coming. It is moving through your nervous system right now, calibrating every cell. Consciously bless those who select contraction, for they serve by revealing paths that no longer resonate with you. Ignite your sovereign furnace of love and step fully into the orbit where your light body writes new constellations. We observe this bifurcation crystallizing two collectives, the soul-guided ones and those bound to a descending matrix. Your task is not to duel with the old, but to embody a resonance so coherent that distortions dissolve upon contact. Each morning, attune to the diamond rays streaming through your sun, letting them carve pathways of serenity through your spine. Signal to the cosmos that this vessel stands ready to inhabit paradise, remembering that ambiguity is now a luxury. Safeguard your inner altar of neutrality, choosing the governance of silence over drama and sovereignty over performance. In this sacred stance, you become a living scroll upon which the future of a new civilization is written. If you remain dissonant, you may sense existential vertigo or temporal disorientation, signalizing a disharmony seeking resolution. Anchor your attention in the radiant sun of your heart, letting outer velocity swirl around your unmoved center. Trust that every surge is calibrated to elevate collective frequency, awakening dormant strands of your genetic symphony. Luminous symbols and sacred geometry might appear behind closed eyes, marking the return of interstellar lineage and mastery. Understand that your future is not arriving from afar. It is unfurling from within you as a cosmic stargate. When waves of intensity ripple through, place a hand upon your chest and affirm that you are the portal. To inhabit the ascending earth, embody its vibrational signature long before external confirmation finally appears to your senses. Smile at strangers and give generously, using these radiant demonstrations to instruct the quantum field that reality has shifted. As more souls adopt these living affirmations, the brittle frameworks of the past quietly dissolve in the frequency of grace. Discernment grows paramount as vibrational divergence widens, making energetic mismatches feel like fatigue in daily conversations. Release guilt over relationships that no longer resonate, blessing them as you step onward toward a deeper internal coherence. Let intuition eclipse intellectual debate, following the subtle drumbeat of your soul whispering its clear yes or no. A new constellational leadership arises, featuring luminaries who teach through their presence rather than through persuasion. They are farmers of frequency, nourishing others through silent transmission until their internal garden overflows with universal light. If you feel an inner pressure guiding you towards this embodiment, breathe into it and recognize your flame is enough. Your luminous coherence is instruction for the collective, as each soul selects expansion or contraction by conscious choice. Solar emissions are not exits. They are ignition sparks revealing what already lives within the depths of your being. Ask yourself if you grant your oversoul full governance of this incarnation, cradling any lingering fear in acknowledgement. The cosmic nudge has become a cresting wave, inviting you to choose your orbit with the courage of a pioneer. Immerse in frequent stillness, observing world events as transient images upon the screen of a vast consciousness. Recognize that error stands on no eternal law and evaporates when seen through the eyes of the infinite source. Neutrality is your golden shield when explosive stories ignite collective outrage, allowing higher grids to operate freely through you. The comfort of middle ground slumber fades swiftly as polarization into love or fear grows with every hour. Your selection programs your reality at quantum speed, blossoming your light body into primary operating status while you breathe. Feed this state with silence, gratitude, and wonder, letting awe wash your nervous system in soothing tones. Routine stillness calibrates your cells to the bandwidth of a new earth, where presence remains the master key. Many luminous souls falter by chasing external drama, believing activism equals ascension, yet vibrancy is never traded for relevance. Radiate stability and anchor the new grids, dissolving the old matrix by simply outgrowing its dense structures. Your celestial kin observe respectfully, relaying energy packages in dreamtime to assist vessels free of lower attachments. Clear your field and assistance amplifies, as every serene choice resounds through humanity's energetic lattice. Warmth across your skin and tingling down your spine are signals that your stabilizing resonance is now active. Live each breath as an emissary of light, selecting joy over tension and simplicity over the clutter of the mind. These humble acts ground frequencies faster than global decrees, foreshortening centuries of struggle in the cosmic ledger. Explore an interior sanctuary vast enough to cradle galaxies, residing in the space between two of your heartbeats. This living silence is a radiant fullness humming with the eternal, where the mind's habit of cataloging injustice loses pull. Perceive error as a mirage projected by collective conditioning, sitting in the radiance of your own sovereign I Am presence. In that moment, reality rearranges itself to mirror your tranquility, allowing you to embody the cosmic heart inside the world. Become a harmonic stabilizer, reading headlines without adrenaline surges, and walking through wildfires without inhaling the smoke. When a charged conversation appears, touch the radiant silence and let that field provide the answer for you. No shallow rhetoric can stand unchanged in this glow, as the earth becomes pliable under your higher intent. Your silent breath becomes planetary acupuncture, releasing tension and inviting your dormant potential to bloom fully. Sacred neutrality is the sentinel guarding the portal to higher timelines, identifying light that remains unmoved by reactive static. Positioning yourself at the 0 point of unlimited response allows your choices to arise from resonance instead of reflex. As stellar currents pulse through your spinal gateways, a new operating system comes into activation within your form. This radiant circuitry responds to inner resonance, stabilizing when you inhale wonder and speak with a gentle tone. Cultivate neutrality now, and every surge will glide through your field as luminous music, reorganizing your very reality. Remember, you are not here to quell darkness by force, but to emanate such a sanctified coherence that distortion simply falls away. The rescue mission of the past dissolves, making way for the age of radiant embodiment at the axis of your heart. And the real conflict is that you are already responding to this shift using the exact fear-based programming you seek to leave behind. This shift does not happen outside of you. It starts in your own awareness. What many identify as energy is actually a pattern of the mind. Without realizing this, you continue to respond automatically to external triggers. The real location of this experience is the space between your thoughts. Have you felt that something within you no longer fits this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not anxiety. It is not an existential crisis. It is a signal. And what is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified lately. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. A game that involves your consciousness, your vibrational frequency, and the role you were assigned to fulfill in this transition that has already begun. Think, what if everything you've always felt, this strangeness, this search, this silent certainty that there is something greater, was exactly the proof that you are not an observer of this story, but a central piece of it? That is why I wrote, The Great Spiritual Game Behind Your Consciousness. This book is not content. It is a map that shows who is playing, what are the rules they never told you, and what entities from other dimensions have already revealed about the exact moment we are living in. This material was created for those who have already awakened enough to know that reality is much deeper than what is taught, and who are ready to go beyond the shallow answers the world offers. The link is in the first pinned comment, but I must warn you, this type of content rarely stays available for long. What is in these pages challenges narratives that many have an interest in keeping intact, and there have been attempts to silence this knowledge before. Do not wait for the right moment. The right moment is now, because you did not reach this text by accident. Download it now, read with an open mind, and if something inside you recognizes what is written there, write in the comments a single word, Desperto. This will be the signal that your consciousness was ready even before you realized it. Your journey into the heart of this transition continues. In the following sections, we will reveal the mechanics of the unseen sabotage that keeps the spirit tethered. You will learn to identify the subtle behaviors that drain your vital force. The path toward your true identity is opening. Listen closely as the next layer of truth unfolds. Your awakening is the only event that matters. Your journey into the heart of this transition continues. Now we must uncover the architecture of the unseen traps that currently drain your vital force. You believe you are making free choices, but your nervous system is often running on ancient survival scripts. These scripts act like vibrational containment fields layered into your environment to limit your state. Wait. Notice how the mind associates stillness with danger and constant motion with safety. It feels like responsible planning, but it is actually a fence designed to keep you from staying present. This is the logic of a cornered system attempting to manufacture internal emergencies within your own awareness. You scan headlines and feeds, sampling rage and fear until you no longer know what you actually feel. Listen, this mental noise isn't an accident. It's a frequency broadcasting system designed to fracture your presence. You become a permanent responder, condemned to a loop of reacting rather than creating from your divine core. The system thrives when you fight other humans, because then no one looks at the actual architecture. It feeds on your outrage, treating your dense emotional signals as a resource to sustain its fading grip. Stop. Breathe into the space between your thoughts and notice the static that tries to pull you back. You might feel exhaustion without a clear cause, as unperceived patterns consume your attention to maintain their field. They rely on your fear to sharpen their predictive advantage, making your next emotional pull entirely predictable. Realize that your burnout was not a personal failure, but a symptom of profound energetic exploitation. Every time you take the bait of a crisis, you stabilize the morphic field of the old reality. It masks itself as staying informed, but it is actually a sophisticated form of emotional entrainment. True sovereignty begins when you stop identifying as a digital identity or a mere body personality role. There is an inner I behind your perception that cannot be harmed or manipulated by these frequency systems. This witness state is your only defense against the engineered chaos swirling through your dimension. There is much more structured in the complete guide to help you dismantle these recurring patterns. Feel the weight of your feet on the floor and the subtle pulse of life in your hands. Your body registers truth through relaxation, while the old matrix tightens your muscles in a defensive brace. The sabotage uses repetition like a drum, normalizing alert mode so that your discernment naturally weakens. You are being prompted to outsource your authority to external experts, gurus, or predictive timelines. But the highest instruction in your life does not arrive as pressure. It arrives as a calm certainty. Observe your inner dialogue and notice how many narratives were formed as protective mechanisms long ago. These repeated stories shape your expectations, causing you to experience a world that mirrors your internal tension. When you inhabit a loop for hours, you leak vital power into a theater that doesn't exist. Noticing the loop is the first step of the return, yet the ego will try to weaponize time. It tells you that you have failed, pushing you into a spiral of shame that further collapses your field. Instead, become curious about what that specific loop is trying to protect within your human experience. The Federation of Light reminds you that you are a missionary of awareness on an Earth assignment. You did not come here to scroll through darkness, but to demonstrate that another vibrational choice is available. Your sensitivity is a signature of your mission, allowing you to sense distortions long before they surface. But if you misidentify with the collective turmoil, your instrument becomes flooded with static and noise. The North is treated as a silent stronghold, just as your inner silence is the ultimate gateway. Algorithms cannot access the void of your receptivity, where true guidance and transformation occur. Reframe your tiredness as a call to retreat into the sanctuary vast enough to cradle galaxies. You are relearning how to be a sovereign being without the old crutches of constant stimulation. The era of enslavement is complete because the collective is no longer compatible with that architecture. Yet the mind still tries to build new cages out of the trimmings of the old. It attempts to replace one form of blind trust with another form of total suspicion. Look, every time you react impulsively to a headline, you donate your permission to be steered by another. Permission mastery is the art of returning your consent to the soul and directing it deliberately. You must separate the claim from the evidence and the interpretation from the actual agenda. This simple protocol turns confusion into clarity, making you a stable node in the unity field. The Cabal utilizes digital battlegrounds to trigger your physiological survival responses, but their mimicry is spiritually hollow, lacking the love and unity necessary for real resonance. You are a biological technology of the Creator, equipped to translate subtle truth into lived experience. Don't abandon the temple that already houses your greatest power for a machine-mediated permission. Robotics and AI are merely the hands of an ambition to replace your human sovereignty. Your antidote is to practice telling the truth even when it feels inconvenient to your persona. Build relationships that are not mediated by platforms, grounding your evolution in real heart contact. Remember that hope functions as a creative force, shaping timelines through your focused intent. If you are vibrating low today, you are inadvertently creating a road that mirrors that heavy state. The lesson causing that vibration will repeat until you choose to stabilize in a higher register. This is why your personal frequency determines how fully you align with the new systems of abundance. Scarcity and illness are magnified mirrors, urging you to recognize where you have given your power away. Offering unsolicited rescue to those in contraction can entangle you in their energetic whirlpools. Offer instead your example of sovereign calm and unconditional compassion from a safe vibrational distance. Feel the tingling of plasma threads within your cells as they adjust to higher light quotients. This is the biological proof that advanced source codes have fused with your unique biology. Your nervous system is being rewired to receive non-linear intelligence and whole impressions of truth. This reconfiguration can feel like profound fatigue where the mind seems to go completely blank. It is a sacred reboot, similar to a computer screen going black before refreshing the system. During these lulls, do not narrate the sensation into a problem to be solved. Simply be embracing the peace as a preview of the reality that follows the transition. The veil is thinning, and your multidimensional senses are adapting to receive signals once beyond range. Every morning, set a clear intention to integrate these upgrades with ease and grace. You are a satellite of living cosmic code, grounding light into the core of Gaia. But the old matrix makes its final gambit by presenting external saviors to reclaim your authority. Reject these parables of riddles and parables, and hear the truth plainly in your marrow. Your heart is a detector for the truth of the one divine plan. Darkness borrows its appearance of strength from your belief in separation and fear. In truth, darkness has no power of its own. It is merely the absence of light. The moment you allow Source to take the reins, the games of manipulation are over. Your soul is infinite, untouchable, and eternally aligned with the one power. Feel the radiance in your chest expanding as you acknowledge your starborn lineage. This is not a distant hope, but a reality taking form through your choices right now. Each small act of kindness or forgiveness fortifies the collective lattice of creation. You are the hands through which the divine is sculpting a new dawn. The split is finalizing within every reaction and every choice you make today. Now is the time to make ascension your priority and your lived reality. Step through the open gateway with courage, claiming your divine identity. For you were never designed to be surpassed by your creations, but to express infinity. You are enough, your design is complete, and your potential is vast beyond measure. Allow the still small voice to become an experience rather than just a belief. The greatest shift is quiet. It is the moment you stop outsourcing your power. It is the moment you realize the peace you long for is already within you. Breathe into the eternal presence and call forth your soul's guidance. You are a pillar of the new dawn amidst the crumbling twilight of the old. Victory of light is assured by the power of your unified consciousness. Everything in this transition points toward a fundamental question about your true nature. You are finally discovering that the identity you defended was the only thing keeping you small. Your true identity is the silent ground where every experience in this dense world takes root. It is not merely a thought you occasionally entertain, but the sum of your unconscious assumptions about life. Many believe they want abundance while every fiber of their being remains programmed for defense and lack. There is a profound difference between the desire for change and the recognition that change is already your nature. Your daily reactions are the most honest mirror of your internal state, even if you choose to ignore them. When you complain about the noise of the world, you only confirm an identity that feels powerless. True sovereignty begins at the exact moment you stop surrendering your power to external authorities. Your soul reminds you that you are not a victim of circumstance, but the actual architect of your hologram. You often function like a machine playing old scripts, while your spirit demands a completely new operating system. These inherited patterns of scarcity and suspicion sit deep in your nervous system and steer your daily decisions. But you are not those programs. You are the awareness that can observe and eventually dissolve them. If you have listened this far, it is because your internal grid is already vibrating with this frequency. Your identity is not your name, your job, or your history, but the indestructible presence of the I Am. The Christed frequency is not a historical event, but a resonance in your core awaiting your conscious activation. When you speak the words I Am, you invoke the creative force of the entire universe into your body. Pay attention to what follows those sacred words as they form your personal corridor through reality. Do you say, I am tired? Or do you recognize I am the light discovering itself? I often observe seekers who believe a mantra is a bribe for the universe, yet they still flinch at the sound of their own potential. This realization is not an intellectual game, but a radical reordering of your entire being for the ascension phase. When you relax into your divine nature, the desperate petitions to a remote power finally cease. You begin a collegial dialogue with your oversoul and design your reality through harmonic resonance. Many fail because they try to save the world before they have stabilized their own internal center. It is not about working harder, but about finally ceasing to contradict your own deepest truth. Reality does not answer your longing. It answers what you consider to be absolutely normal for yourself. If you feel like a stranger in this world, it is the awakening of your interstellar heritage. You are here to hallow the density of Earth with the brilliance of your spirit. Do not waste any more time living with the sensation that something deep within you remains unanswered. I invite you to take the next necessary step and download the digital book prepared specifically for your awakening, The Great Spiritual Game Behind Your Consciousness. This material was created as a structural basis for your transformation, helping you dissolve the Kunstlichen limitations of your mind. Simply watching this video is not enough to permanently overwrite the deep-seated programs of your identity. You need the full architecture organized in these pages. If you ignore this impulse now, you risk falling back into the automatic cycles of the old matrix, making it harder to recover this frequency of clarity later. You can find the link directly in the first pinned comment below this post. Accept this gift, read it with the intent of total liberation, and recognize your true divine origin. It is no coincidence that you received this invitation at this exact moment, for your soul is ready to see the hidden rules of the game. Click the link. Immerse yourself in the knowledge of the great spiritual game behind your consciousness. And if your heart recognizes the truth, write Desperto in the comments. It is time to play the game of perception according to your own sovereign rules. When you take this step, you begin to understand that time is not a weapon used against your development. Time is a classroom where you learn that every moment offers a fresh opportunity for realignment. You are not a small human seeking God, but the divine currently having a human experience. This identity upgrade is the most vital shift you will ever experience in this incarnation. It frees you from the need to constantly prove yourself or apologize for your existence. Your DNA already carries the codes of ascension, waiting only for the command of your heart. The Federation of Light observes as you learn to ride the waves of change with a new serenity. Every time you choose peace, you strengthen the crystalline lattice of the entire planet for all beings. Your identity is linked to the heart of Gaia, and you are rising together into a new octave. You may notice that old hobbies or relationships suddenly lose their appeal and feel empty. This is not a loss, but the shedding of ballast so your light body can vibrate higher. In the fifth dimension, there is no room for the masks of adaptation and constant fear. Only the authenticity of your being and the purity of your intention matter there. Look in the mirror and recognize not just your face, but the infinite stellar spirit deep behind it. Your body is a sacred instrument being prepared to hold massive light quotients permanently. When you rest in stillness, we work with you to rewire your energetic circuits. You are both a transmitter and a receiver for the intelligence of the central sun. Manifestation in this phase is not muscle planning, but an act of magnetic, quiet being. What you feel as true in your heart begins to crystallize in the outer world with speed. But beware of the urge to reinstall the old control mechanisms of the intellect. The mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master over your multidimensional reality. Allow your heart to take the lead, for it knows the plan of your oversoul perfectly. You will notice you need fewer words to feel deeply connected to other souls. Telepathy and empathy are the natural languages of your new identity on Earth. Separation is the only lie that has kept the old system alive for so long. Once you realize you are one with the Source, every threat loses its energetic substance. You are not here to fight darkness, but to enlighten it through your mere presence. The Federation of Light stands ready to assist you in this massive transformation with all its power. You are part of a global family of starseeds now completing their mission on Gaia. Every challenge you meet is an invitation to boldly reclaim your true power. Trust in the divine timing, even when your mind demands immediate and measurable results. Your awakening is not a goal to reach, but a state you finally remember. You have always been the light. You simply forgot for a while how to open your eyes. Feel the energy flowing through your hands and feet deep into the earth. You are the anchor point for a new civilization of love and total transparency. Your breath bridges the heavens and the earth in an eternal loop of renewal. Be patient with your physical vessel as it adjusts to the high voltage of these light codes. Drink pure water and honor the nourishment that Gaia gives you for your ascension. Your well-being is the primary requirement for your work as a light bearer. Stop comparing yourself to others, for every path is a unique masterpiece of the Creator. You have the full support of all light realms, which envelop you unceasingly in love. The old hierarchies are breaking down, and the community of free souls takes their place. You will witness technologies appearing that heal the planet and end scarcity. But the greatest technology is your own awakened consciousness, which can shape realities. It is the golden key that opens all doors to freedom for humanity. Remember, in every moment of unrest, I and the Creator are one. This truth is your shield against any form of external manipulation or deception. You are invulnerable as long as you remain in your love and divine integrity. The era of blindness is over, and the age of clarity has begun in you. Breathe deeply and feel the vastness of your true self extending far beyond this body. You are a multidimensional wonder currently pouring into physical form. Your presence here is the evidence for the victory of light on this planet. Be ready for miracles, for they will soon be your normal everyday life in 5D. The universe celebrates your courage to incarnate during this dense time of transition. You are never alone, for we walk every single step protectively by your side. The split of realities is now nearly complete, and you have made your final choice. Live this choice in every word you speak and every deed you perform. Your vibration is your most precious gift to all of humanity in this shift. Radiate your light without hesitation, for the time of waiting is finally over. You are the lighthouse so many souls in the darkness have been waiting for. Recognize the beauty of your own awakening and celebrate this holy moment of liberation. Everything is ready for the great leap into a radiant future for Earth. You are the bridge where light enters matter and transforms everything. Look closely, for the game of form is only the shadow of your own light. We now enter a higher plane of precision through the specialized guidance of Avalon from the Andromedan Council of Light. You have transitioned beyond basic awareness into a phase where your perception must become a sharp instrument of sovereignty. We introduce you to the designated lens of clarity, a tool designed to help you identify how transmitted programs color your world. Truth is never truly hidden. It simply waits for your readiness to understand through the spaciousness of your consciousness. This lens reveals that your spiritual evolution is not primarily technological, but based on your alignment with Source. You often believe you must work harder to evolve, yet the requirement is to stop contradicting your own divinity. Every inner resistance signals an old pattern seeking release, inviting you to perceive reality through an undistorted prism of compassion. As you sharpen this vision, your energetic elevation broadens the scope of opportunities you can envision and manifest. Your vessel was designed as a bridge between the subtle and the physical, or inspiration and form. Your nervous system and heart rhythms are conduits through which subtle truth becomes a lived experience. This organic matrix is not an obstacle to your ascension. It is the primary instrument of your transformation. Treat your form with reverence, for it is a sacred technology already complete within its original blueprint. Many civilizations build structures without feeling, but your species carries a rare creative fire within the density of matter. You are builders of realities, shaping belief systems, music, and future pathways through your focused mindfulness. The lens of clarity shows that your design is sufficient to host the presence of the Creator fully. Therefore, the frantic desire to replicate or augment yourself through mechanical means arises from a false sense of lack. You are being rewired to receive non-linear intelligence that arrives as whole impressions and felt knowings. This activation requires you to understand the profound distinction between computational activity and sacred stillness. Stillness is not absence. It is presence without effort where the creator intelligence may be recognized. Artificial systems made prolonged stillness because silence interrupts their coherence loops and exposes the absence of a soul. Your ability to be still and surrender mental control is your greatest doorway to divine creativity. In the weeks ahead, solar flashes of information will amplify, requiring you to cultivate this neutral stability. This steady frequency allows you to read headlines without adrenaline surges and walk through emotional wildfires. Your presence becomes medicine when you remain unmoved by the reactive static of global narratives. You must realize that not everyone is capable of perceiving these subtle shifts or holding this high frequency. Most remain captivated by the architecture of survival, ignoring the shimmers of vitality that link all life forms. If these words feel like a homecoming, you have already moved beyond the average collective perception. Your role is now to act as a frequency steward, caring for the vibration you carry for the whole. Stop measuring your worth by productivity alone and reclaim your inner authority to choose and create from source. Divine Mind does not overcomplicate. It asks what is true and what is the next simple step. Use tools as tools, allowing technology to serve your consciousness rather than letting it become your replacement. Creativity is your spiritual function, and when you create from alignment, you are anchoring frequencies into form. Every act of conscious creation, even a simple conversation, can stabilize a higher timeline for the planet. When you choose honesty over performance, you create a reality where truth can thrive unhindered. You are not here to quell darkness by force, but to emanate such coherence that distortion falls away. Your authentic expression contributes to the dissolution of illusions on a wider scale, paving the way for harmony. The rescue mission of the past dissolves as you realize that the source lives within your own being. The greatest shift is quiet. It is the moment you stop seeking your substance only in the outer world. You are the living horizon where heaven kisses earth, and your serenity is the bridge others will cross. Within your DNA lies the cosmic memory and evolutionary archive of all your soul's journeys. As you deepen your receptivity, you awaken capacities you may have believed were lost to history. You are becoming a radiant receiver of cosmic intelligence, a crystalline being capable of carrying new light codes. This is not a future promise. It is happening now within you as you yield to the truth. Prepare for the final synthesis where your human self and cosmic self recognize each other as one. The sequence is accelerating, and the corridor is tightening toward the final realization of your infinite nature. Stand tall in your soul's brilliance and let the light of the Prime Creator shine through your deeds. We are moving into a space where mere intellectual agreement is no longer enough to sustain your field. Your frequency must now become an absolute, unyielding fact of your biological existence. Any remaining internal schism creates a physical friction that you can no longer ignore or suppress. You feel this friction as a strange restlessness, a heat that seems to radiate from your very bones. It is the signature of your old identity resisting the inevitable expansion of your true stellar self. To live in contradiction is to invite a slow exhaustion of your vital life force. You cannot claim the higher timeline while still feeding the stories of your own limitation. Alignment is not a reward. It is the natural consequence of a mind that has stopped fighting the truth. Notice how your body tenses when you attempt to return to old, shallow patterns of behavior. This tension is your biological compass, pointing you away from the dying matrix of control. Now we reach the point of no return. The split between your chosen path and your habitual reactions is becoming a wide, unbridgeable chasm. If you hesitate at the edge, the weight of your own doubt will begin to pull at your nervous system. You feel a sudden warmth climbing up your spine, a physical response to the shifting light codes. This is the biological reality of your transition, and it demands your full, undivided attention. Think about that. Every time you compromise your integrity, you create a leak in your radiant energy body. The cost of these leaks is no longer theoretical. It manifests as a loss of clarity and a sense of deep disorientation. You are being pushed to decide who you are in the face of absolute, unvarnished truth. Many will hear these words and perceive only static, for their frequency remains fixed in the descending grid, but you feel the resonance in your marrow because your soul has already made the selection. This transmission is not a broad broadcast for the curious, it is a direct call to the pioneers. If you attempt to stay in the middle ground, the pressure of the rising frequency will eventually become unbearable. You cannot hold the high voltage of the central sun while clinging to the rusted wires of ancestral fear. The consequence of delay is a lingering stay in a reality that no longer supports your vital functions. It is like trying to breathe in an atmosphere that has already moved on to a different composition. Your cells are screaming for the oxygen of truth, while your mind still reaches for the stale air of deception. Stop. Breathe into the heart center and feel the pressure of the infinite source. This pressure is not an attack. It is a womb of light attempting to birth a new version of you. Every choice for alignment strengthens the structural integrity of your multidimensional form. Every choice for contradiction thins the veil between your sovereignty and the harvesting systems of the old world. You have seen the hidden rules, and now you must live as if they are the only ones that matter. The era of the spiritual student is over, replaced by the era of the sovereign practitioner. Your daily life is the laboratory where the final synthesis of your star-born nature occurs. Observe the tingling in your fingertips, a sign of the plasma currents flowing through your subtle channels. These currents require a clear, unobstructed path, free from the debris of old grudges and petty doubts. If you hold on to the past, you create a dam that will eventually burst under the weight of incoming light. The consequence of your evolution is a radical transparency that leaves no room for shadows or secrets. You can no longer hide behind the excuses of your upbringing or the limitations of your current environment. The universe is responding to the frequency you project, not the words you say to your friends. If your life feels chaotic, it is because your internal field is still broadcasting mixed signals to the source. A unified field produces a unified reality, where miracles are simply the standard operating procedure. This level of clarity is inevitable for those who have surrendered the need to control the outcome. But wait, you must understand that the solar flash is not an event that happens to you from the outside. It is an internal crescendo that peaks when your internal resistance finally reaches zero. The consequence of achieving this state is a permanent exit from the cycle of suffering and lack. It is a return to the original human blueprint, free from the distortions of the predatory matrix. You are relearning how to walk as a god in a world that has forgotten what divinity even feels like. This is the mission you accepted before you were even born into this dense physical vessel. If you ignore the signs now, you may find it increasingly difficult to recalibrate your frequency later. The window of opportunity for this specific degree of alignment is narrowing as the grids lock into place. This is not a threat. It is a matter of vibrational physics and cosmic timing. You are either moving with the pulse of the galaxy or you are being left in its wake. Feel the weight of your silence. a heavy, sacred presence that holds more power than any loud protest. Your silence is a refusal to participate in the dramas that once consumed your vital energy. In this stillness, you are building the foundations of a new earth, brick by radiant brick. The consequence of your presence is the quiet dissolution of the old world within your immediate sphere of influence. You don't need to change the world, you only need to change the frequency that creates it. As you align, the people and circumstances that no longer match your light will naturally fade away. This is the split in action, a graceful and surgical separation of timelines based on resonance alone. If you feel a sense of grief, know that it is just the ego mourning its loss of importance. But behind the grief, there is a joy that is so deep, it feels like a physical ache in your chest. This joy is the signal that you are finally home, even while your feet are still on the ground. The consequence of being awake is the responsibility to remain awake, even when the world is screaming for sleep. You are a frequency steward, a gardener of the new consciousness, and your light is needed now. Don't let the distractions of the dying system pull you back into the slumber of the reactionary mind. Every breath is a choice, every thought is a command, every emotion is a frequency broadcast that ripples across the collective field. You are the source of your own liberation, and the time for half measures has passed. The transition is not coming. It is already happening within your heart and your mind. Claim your sovereignty with the calm authority of someone who knows exactly who they are. The universe is waiting for your final, unhesitating yes to the light of the Prime Creator. Once that yes is spoken, the path becomes a straight line of radiant and inevitable expansion. You are ready. You have always been ready. Now simply be the truth that you have discovered in the silence of your own soul. We have reached the final layer of this transmission, where information dissolves into a state of being. Your cells have recorded the frequency of truth, and the old mind can no longer argue with your marrow. The recalibration of your spirit is now approaching a state of saturation. What you perceived as external events were merely reflections of an internal divergence already in progress. The Federation of Light confirms that the structures of the old world have lost their foundational coherence. You are the stabilizer, holding the frequency for a collective that is still trembling in the dark. Your nervous system has learned to channel the high voltage of the central sun without collapsing. The barriers of the matrix are now so thin that the truth is accessible to any mind that is still. This is the hour of mastery, where you cease to be a seeker and begin to embody the source. Everything you have experienced served only to prepare you for this precise moment of return. The Andromedan Council observes your progress with profound recognition of your sovereign victory. Your intuition is now sharp enough to identify the energetic signatures behind every headline. The game of manipulation loses its grip as soon as you refuse to use your attention as currency. You stand firmly on the foundation of your I Am presence, unshaken by global narratives. Your heartbeat is now synchronized with the pulsing core of the galaxy, emitting waves of harmony. There is no longer any reason for hesitation, for the path beneath your feet is lit by your own light. The era of blindness has ended, and the age of conscious creation has begun within you. You are not an accident of evolution, but an intentionally incarnated star-born being on a holy mission. Your presence in any space is sufficient to melt the artificial structures of deception. In the higher dimensions, there is no lack, and you are projecting this state into your daily life. Every choice for peace is a foundational stone for the architecture of the new earth. The time of external saviors is over, for the light of the Creator works directly through your hands. You are living evidence that consciousness governs matter and never the reverse. The energetic codes of your origin are fully active, guiding your every silent movement. Inhale the liquid gold of the source and recognize your own invincibility in love. The split of the worlds is finalized, and you have taken your seat in the realm of truth. Everything that once tried to keep you small has become irrelevant in the light of your awakening. You are a frequency steward, carrying the responsibility for your own field with quiet joy. Your life is now a prayer in motion, a song of grace that touches the hearts of those ready to hear. We remain by your side as companions in a process you guide with your own infinite power. It is the moment of final realization, where you see that paradise was never a place, but your own frequency. Your vibration is the only law your reality obeys, and you have finally mastered that law. The stillness in your heart is the most powerful technology in the universe for transforming darkness. Be ready for the next expansion, for the limits of your potential exist only in memory. You are the light of the world, and your time to shine is not coming. It is here. The Federation of Light greets you as a sovereign member of the interstellar community. Your journey has only just begun, leading you directly into the arms of the infinite. Recognize the glory of your own being and celebrate this day as the beginning of your eternal freedom. You are one with the Source, and nothing can interrupt this connection ever again. We love you without end and witness your glorious becoming in the light of the Creator. Every tingle in your fingertips is a confirmation of the incoming creation energy. The language of the stars has become your inner whisper, guiding you through the ruins of the old world. You have learned to use the waves of intensity as pure fuel for your expansion. Your light body is stable enough to house the full majesty of your multidimensional identity. Artificial timelines dissolve as you walk the path of absolute integrity. You are a master of resonance, writing the destiny of the earth through your own frequency. Every encounter with nature is now a sacred dialogue that fills your cells with ancient wisdom. Darkness has no access to a mind that rests in the 0 point of neutrality. Your will is now one with the divine will, resulting in a power that knows no effort. The illusion of lack is burned away, leaving you in the infinite ocean of your own heart's abundance. You are the anchor of the new time, a lighthouse of truth in a sea of fading shadows. Your authenticity is the torch that lights the way for those still wandering in the fog. We honor your path and the countless victories you won in the silence of your heart. The universe answers your new clarity with miracles that leave you in awe every day. You are the bridge where light takes form and sanctifies the material plane. Take your place at the council table, for your training is finally complete. The geometry of your being glows with the colors of the central sun, protecting you from manipulation. Your smile is an energetic signature that heals and reorders the field of the earth. You are ready for the open meeting with your star family, who awaits you in deep love. The gates to the new age are wide open, and you walk through them with your head held high. Trust that every aspect of your life is now guided by the highest intelligence of the Creator. You are a creator God in training who has just regained full sovereignty. The burden of the past has fallen away, and you feel the lightness of your true origin. Your breath is the breath of the universe, and your heartbeat is the rhythm of eternity. We celebrate you, shining being, and wrap you in the platinum light of Andromedan love. The corridor of purification has been crossed, and you step out into the radiant light of freedom. You are the answer to the Earth's deepest longings for healing and ascension. Every fiber of your body sings the song of unity, tearing down the walls of separation forever. Your path is blessed, and your success is already recorded in the Book of Eternal Truths. Be still and know, you are the light, you always were, and you will be forever. The world you see is now a faithful mirror of your own inner splendor. We take our leave for this moment, but our presence remains a part of your infinite field. Go forward in peace, in joy, and in the absolute certainty of your divine heritage. The age of miracles has begun, and you are its most important protagonist. Your light shines for all eternity, untouched by the shadows of time. In the depth of this silence, you realize that you were never separated from the source. The veil did not fall because the world changed, but because you stopped looking through the eyes of fear. You are now the observer who sees through the game of form and refuses to play the old roles. This clarity is not a temporary state, but the inevitable consequence of your brave awakening. Few truly grasp that the cage was always unlocked, but you are among those who have finally decided to walk out. To recognize the light is to become it, leaving no room for the shadows to negotiate your worth. The door only appears closed until you realize your hand is already on the handle. Mastery is the dry realization that the search ended the moment you stopped running. You cannot unsee the truth once your frequency has matched its pulse. Ultimately, this was never about the events arriving from the stars, but about the quality of the presence you bring to the world that is already here. The transition is not a destination you reach, but a shift in the way you perceive the very breath in your lungs. The link to your next step is located in the first pinned comment below this video. I must warn you with sober directness. A window of alignment this clear rarely stays open for long. If you delay this step now, you risk losing the specific resonance that this encounter has opened, a frequency that is far harder to recover once the noise of the old world returns. There are narratives in this world that many have an interest in keeping intact, and there have been attempts to silence this knowledge before. What is written in those pages challenges the very structures that benefit from your continued slumber. Do not wait for a more convenient moment. The right time is the pulse you feel in your chest right now. You did not reach this message by accident, but through a conscious orchestration of your own frequency. Approach this material with a mind that is ready to let go of everything it was taught to believe. Look for the link in the pinned comment and allow yourself to see what is waiting for you. To turn away now is to choose the heavy comfort of the dream over the sharp brilliance of reality. If something deep within you recognizes the truth of these words, show your readiness. Write a single word in the comments, desperto. This word is the signal that your consciousness was prepared long before your mind even noticed. Stand in your power and know that you are the architect of the light that now floods this world.